Welcome back, Albert here. Today we will be discussing Tar-Aldarion, the 6th King of Númenor. Aldarion, meaning son of trees, was born in the year 700 of the Second Age. But like Numenor before, Aldarion wasn't his birth name, but a name earned by reputation. He was born under the name Arnadil, meaning sun lover, and later as Arnadilje, but only by his grandfather Viantur. From the earliest age, Aldarion loved the sea, following after his grandfather, more so than his father Meneldur, who had a passion for astronomy. By the year 725 SA, Aldarion was eager to venture out to sea, something that his father disapproved of. However, knowing the heart of his son, he allowed it. Aldarion set sail on his first voyage towards Middle-earth, with his grandfather as captain, and during this journey, which lasted 2 years upon the ship Númenorean, they arrived at Mithalon, an elvish port in western Eredor. Aldarion would meet and befriend the elves, Cédan and Gil-galad, from whom he learned much about both the making and management of ships. Aldarion returned, grown in stature, with his eyes bright, and his father could see his son had become enamored with the great sea. But it was during these voyages that Aldarion explored past the mouths of Barad-dûn, Coathalo, Isen, and beheld the great bay of Bifalas and the mountains of Amarat, where the Nandorian elves still dwelt. Aldarion would return in 739 SA, a very experienced captain and venturer. Aldarion would not depart again for a time, because following his return, Tar-Elendil would step down as king, and so in the year 740 SA, his father, Tar-Meneldur, would become the 5th king of Númenor, and by the bequest and comfort of his father, would remain on Númenor. In those days, Aldarion would put to use the knowledge he gained from Cédan concerning the making of ships, devising much anew of his own thought, and began also to set men to the improvement of the havens and the quays. But in the year 750 SA, his desire to return to sea had grown, and so in the same year he founded the Guild of Venturers, a guild of mariners and seamen, a brotherhood of hardy and eager Númenorians who sought adventure, and who would refer to Aldarion as the Great Captain. The guild had no fixed guildhouse on land, but was instead based on the ship Iambar, meaning sea home, which was built for this purpose, and was most often anchored off the island of Tar-Aldarion in the narrow bay of Rohmena. This ship Aldarion would decide to live on. Tar-Meneldur looked coldly upon this, and also upon his sons' sea enterprises, believing that they engendered restlessness and a desire for domination over lands. This led to the father and son becoming estranged. Aldarion ceased to speak openly of his designs and his desires to his father. His father tried to limit his activities by curbing the cutting down of trees on Númenor, but this would just create a greater wedge between father and son. In defiance, Aldarion would take his guild to Middle-earth, seeking timber for shipbuilding, establishing a new port at the mouth of Coathalo called Vielondi, or New Haven, albeit to the anger of the native people over the years, ancestors of the Dumlendings, who would adverse and attack the havens several times due to the cataclysmic deforestation of the ancient trees. However, by 800 SA, Aldarion had reconciled with his father for a time, as it was Aldarion's 100th year and he had been declared heir to the throne, additionally receiving the title and power of Lord of the Ships and Havens of Númenor. His father then commanded Aldarion to cease his voyages, and reluctantly Aldarion agreed. It was during his 100th celebration that Aldarion would meet Erendis, daughter of Bíregar, a Númenor of the west of the Isle, a line of lesser blood, which meant Erendis was not gifted with the exceptional long life of the royal family, but still longer than normal people. Erendis entered the household of the queen and found favour with the king. However, although his parents desired Aldarion to marry, he sought to leave again, and in the year 806 SA, he obtained permission from his disappointed father to head back out to sea. This voyage would last 7 years, returning in 813 SA, bringing with him ore of silver and gold. Although this was a poor gift in Tar-Meneldur's eyes, he would have rathered time with his son. By chance, around the time of his return, Aldarion met Erendis again in the forests of the Westlands, and started to woo her in earnest. However, she held back her affections due to their obvious differences in passions. He loved the sea, she loved the woodlands. But in the year 816 SA, and after the construction of the great ship Palarin, meaning far wanderer, Aldarion would once again disappoint his father, defying his king's orders and setting sail. Tar-Meneldur became very wrathful over this, and forbid the queen and the sisters giving Aldarion the broth of Olir, a token of friendship and a blessing of safe return from the Maya, Ose, and Ewan. Another name for it was green broth of return. This was a bad omen in the minds of the mariners. But when all was ready and the ship was prepared to weigh anchor, Erendis arrived and offered a broth for the ship. This was the moment Aldarion would show true affection towards her, and it was said he hastened his return. And that's it, my friends, for part 1 of this epic tale. There is so much more to get through with Aldarion's story, from his complicated relationship with Erendis, his conflict with his father, his explorations with the Guild Adventurers, and the traditions of the Numenor. It's my intention to bring together all these elements from this era, lifting them from the paper, which seem disjointed, and truly do this character justice. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Please keep an eye out for part 2 of this epic tale. Please subscribe, like and comment if you like this content, and if you want to see more. Thanks once again for watching. Goodbye for now, and may the light of Erendil guide your way.